So, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, last verse. Very important section. So, 26th is a very important verse. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Now, the last verse. What is Brahman? Come to the level of Brahman. So Brahman word is very difficult word to understand. Comes to the Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahmana hi pratishtaham amritasya vasyacha. Shashyatasya dharmasya shukasya ikatikasya. Brahmana of the impersonal Brahmajyoti is certainly pratishtha, the rest, aham, I. I am the rest of impersonal Brahman. Amritasya of the immortal. Abhayasya of the imperishable. So also. Sar Shashyatasya of the eternal. So also. Dharmasya of the constitutional position. Shukhasya of happiness. Vaikantikasya, ultimate. So also. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of the ultimate happiness. I am reading it. Krishna is saying, I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. Sun is the basis of sunshine. And what is this? Impersonal Brahman? Impersonal Brahman is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. Immortal, imperishable, eternal. Almost the words are similar. Immortal, no death. Imperishable, never finish. And eternal, permanent. See, if someone is immortal, imperishable, must be eternal. And is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Shashata, Vaikantikasya, Shukasya. The constitution of Brahma is immortality, imperishability, eternity, and happiness. Immortality, imperishability, eternity, and happiness. Actually, the Satchidananda, all are short aspect, immortality, imperishability, and eternity, short, happiness. There is not told this chit part also. But it is not everywhere to mention all the qualities. Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. You want to sun? First knowledge about sun is sunshine and heat. If you enter inside, you can see other things. But first knowledge about sun is through sunshine and heat. So Brahman realization is the primary relation, beginning of transcendental realization. Paramatma, the super soul, is the middle, the second stage of transcendental realization, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth. Therefore, both Paramatma and the personal Brahman are within the Supreme Person. So here another thing, when I told this, immortality, imperishable, eternity, happiness. Why three things is enough? Because actually Brahman aspect is the Sat part, Sat. Paramatma realization, Sat and Chit. And Bhagavan realization, Sat, Chit and Ananda, all three. So only Brahma is this Sat part, Sat. Eternity, imperishability and immortality. But then why happiness? Actually, all are there. It is not that when they are like it's Brahma's it's not that only Bhagavan has bliss. There is no bliss in Brahman. Yes, because Brahman is no suffering. So that is it is happiness. Brahmananda. So therefore both Paramatma and the impersonal Brahma are within the Supreme Person. Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahma realization on the Sat, Paramatma realization Sat and Chit, and Bhagavan realization Sat, Chit, Ananda. Then when Sat, Chit, Ananda, Bhagavan realization, then is Brahman, Paramatma automatically included. It is explained in the 7th chapter that material nature is a manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Law. The law impregnates the inferior material nature with fragments of the superior nature. And that is the spiritual touch in the material nature. When a living entity conditioned by this material nature begins the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge, he elevates himself from the position of material existence and gradually rises up to the Brahman conception of the Supreme. This attainment of the Supreme Brahma conception of the life is the first stage in self-realization. At this stage, the Brahma realization person is transcendental to the material position, but he is not actually perfect in Brahma realization. If he wants, he can continue to stay in the Brahman position and then gradually rise up to the Paramatma realization and then to the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many examples of this in Vedic literature. The 4 Kumaras are situated first in the impersonal Brahman conception of truth, but then they gradually rose to the platform of devotional service. One who cannot elevate himself beyond the impersonal conception of Brahman runs the risk of falling down. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that all the person may raise to the stage of impersonal Brahman. Without going further, with no information of the Supreme Person, his intelligence is not perfectly clear. I'm reading again. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that all the person may raise to the stage of impersonal Brahman. Without going further, with no information of the Supreme Person, his intelligence is not perfectly clear. This verse, is Bhagavatam said, Abhishuddha Buddhaya. His buddhi is not Vishuddha, Abhishuddha Buddha. Like a 3-story building. And if you go far, just cross first stair and not going to third stair, third floor, then he is not intelligent. Or sitting in the stair. Oh, at least I am above the other those in the ground floor. That his knowledge is not, maybe higher, but not perfect. What happens with them? Abhishuddha Buddha, Anadita Jushmata Angra. Due to Abhishuddha Buddha, not knowledge is not pure. That is why they fall down. Intelligence is not perfectly clear. Patanti adha, they fall down. Why? Jishmat Angraha. He neglects the lotus feet of Krishna. There is Mahaprasad. He will neglect Mahaprasad. Oh, what is this? One can enjoy the dancing and singing. He will neglect. How a singing and dancing can get love? Due to that neglect, he will be bereft of that. That is why there is knowledge called Abhishiddha Buddha. Therefore, in spite of being raised in the Brahman platform, there is the chance of falling down if one is not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Vedic language, it is also said, Rashavai Saha Rashami Evayam Labdhanandi Bhavati. When one understands the personality of Godhead, the reservoir of pleasure, Krishna, he actually becomes transcendently blissful. The Supreme Lord is full in six opulences. And when a devotee approaches him, there is an exchange of these six opulences. The servant of king enjoys on an almost equal level with the king. And so eternal happiness, imperishable happiness, and eternal life accompany devotional service. Therefore, realization of Brahma or eternity or imperishability is included in the devotional service. This is already possessed by a person who is engaged in devotional service. The living entity, all the Brahman, by nature, has the desire to lord it over the material world. And due to this, it falls down. In his constitutional position, a living entity is above the three modes of material nature. But association with material nature entangles him in the different modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Due to the association of these three modes, his desire to dominate the material world is there. By engagement in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, he is immediately situated in the transcendental position, and his unlawful desire to control material nature is removed. Therefore, the process of devotional service, beginning with hearing, chanting, remembering, the prescribed 9 methods for realizing devotional service, should be practiced in the association of devotees. Gradually, by such association, by the influence of the spiritual master, one's material desire to dominate is removed, and one becomes firmly situated in Lord's transcendental loving service. This method is prescribed from the 22nd to the last verse of the chapter. Devotional service to the Lord is very simple. One should always engage in the service of the Lord, should eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the deity, smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, see the places where the Lord had his transcendental pastimes, read of the different activities of the Lord, his reciprocation of love with his devotees, I'm reading it. What you should do? Devotional service is very simple. First one should engage in the service of the Lord. Then second one, eat remnants of the food stuff, Mahaprasad. Then smell the flowers of heart. Very simple thing. And see the places, transcendental pastimes and different activities of the Lord. And is with the devotees. Chant always the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna. Chant always. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. After the fasting days, commemorating the appearance and disappearance of the Lord and his devotees. Fasting days. Not only Ekadashi, other days also. By following such a process, one becomes completely detached from the material activities. One who can thus situate himself in the Brahma Jyoti or different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality. Thus end the Bhakti and the purports of the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the 3 modes of material nature. Now, 3 modes of material nature. In the material nature, 3 modes, and apart from the 3 modes, what are there? In the material nature, in 14th chapter, in the material nature, 3 modes. What are there apart from this? Okay. Namrashita Mata.
Maharaj, I had a question actually, that is why I had raised my hand.
Okay.
Yes.
What is there? Without the 3 modes of
Maharaj,
material.
soul and super soul, like soul and
So yes, that is it. Soul. In the material world, not only 3 modes, there is soul also. Yeah, you're right. Soul and super soul also there. It's not that material world, there is no super soul. The soul and super soul are of 2 types. One is mainly super soul is not always here, but at least soul is here. And that soul are of 2 types. Somebody always there, somebody are here. So they're fallen down, Khara Purush. They're not fallen down, they're spiritual, the Akshar Purush. So now in this material, Khara Purush, fallen soul, and material nature. How they are staying together, how they entangle, though they are spiritual, how they entangled here. The 15th chapter will explain the yoga of the Supreme Person. How this material world, how it is made up, and where the living into this situating where. Here, the material world is compared with a upside down banyan tree, and living entities are birds in that. In connection with the birds and trees, so big difference. The birds is enjoying the tree, but bird is very small, but tree is very big. And birds does not know how big this tree is. Lord is explaining this material world. Sri Bhagavan Vach, Urdhamulam Adha Shakam Ashattam Prahurapam Chandangsi Jasya Parnani Jastam Veda Shavedavi. Sri Bhagavan Vach, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Urdhamulam, with roots above, Adha Shakam, branches are downwards. Ashatham, a banyan tree. Prahu is said. Ahu, Prahu, Abhyam, eternal. Chandangshi, the Vedic hymns. Yasya, of whose? Parnani, the leaves. Ja, anyone who. Tam, that. Vedanos, Sahi, Vedavid, knower of the Vedas. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Purport. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one will question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in the chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end. And for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. These trees' roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost point of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. If this material world is a tree, if we don't know the tree, then how will you get out? So before get out, we should know the tree perfectly. This process of extinction should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 14th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from the material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. Very important sentence. Devotion means detachment of material activities and attachment to the transcendental service. Not only detachment. Without attachment, we cannot detach. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upwards. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches, representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represent the results of the living entities' activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are the fruits The fruits represent the results of the living entities. These are the fruits of the living entities. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Now, there is no ready experience in this world for a tree situated with its branches downward and its roots upwards. But there is such a thing. That tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. The upside down tree, you can see the reflection of a tree in the water. We can see that the tree and the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on the water. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Another example we can give. Take a dream. What a dream at night. It is only in the mind, not actually exist. When we see I'm flying, I'm not flying. It exists in mind. In the same way, this whatever is seeing in this material world, the reflection of the spiritual world, actually, it is actually no actual existence, a reflection. It's situated on desire. When we are attracted by seeing the flying of a bird, we also want to fly. That remains on the mental performance. Desire is the cause of things being situated in the reflected material life. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this thoroughly through analytical study. You should know this through analytical study. Then he can cut off the relationship with it. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to the root of the material tree. And from the root, according to Shankha philosophy, come Prakriti, Purush, then the three gunas, then the 5 gross elements, then the 10 senses, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahma is the center of all circumstances, all manifestations, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. Who knows this 180 degree? Please raise your hand. What is the meaning of 180 degree? Please raise your hand. 180 degree what comes so many times. Please raise your shoulder. Who understands 180 degree? Wow. Nobody raised hand. Okay, Himanshu, Namashita, Devarati, Akshay, Maya. Okay, so many devotees does not know what is 180 degree. In mathematics, like you just consider watch. With the center is one circle for 360 degree. One part 90 degree, one. Another for 190 degree, another. This way, this complete circle in mathematics, geometry is called 360 degree. So if starting from here, top 90, come the opposite 180, come here 3 and 270 here 360. So 360 complete circle. 180 means completely opposite. So 180 degree means completely opposite. So if you circle, you cut it. See, this is 180 degree this side, 180 degree that side. The spiritual or 180 degree and material or 180 degree. So in simple word, 180 degree means completely opposite. 1 degree, 2 degree, this way 360. 180 means just opposite. Simply remember, 180 degree means completely opposite. The material world is the perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality. Therefore, both Prakriti and Purush must be there. In the spiritual world, however, Prakriti is the Supreme Lord's internal energy, and Purush is the Supreme Lord Himself. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Purushihi para partha. The difference between the spiritual and material manifestation is that the former is eternal and the latter is temporal. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas are attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of God Himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual law. So, next, another 4 verses will explain that. And after that, material law will explain. After that, will explain spiritual law. Jadgatta nanivattam tadhavam. After that, the relationship with the soul and super soul. How soul is entangled and fallen down, how they can get liberated. That is explained. What is the purpose of the Vedas? Purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. Who knows Vedas? Only Krishna knows. Who is the compiler of the Vedas? Krishna. So that is the thing we will read letters, verses. Hare Krishna. Okay, Namrishta Mati has raised.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanvat Ram to you. Maharaj, in the last verse of 14th chapter, the last 3 lines which says, one who can thus situate himself in the Brahm Jyoti or the different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality. But then in various verses in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna says, if you do this, you attain my nature. If you do that, you come to my abode. But then here it is written that even if you are situated in Brahm Jyoti or in Paramatma realization, then also you attain that quality of Krishna. How is that? How to understand that, Maharaj?
Yes, that means Satchidananda. That means quality will be same, not quantity. One, situated Brahma means one understood I am not this body, I am this soul. Soul means quality will be same.
But Maharaj, Krishna has complete quality, Satchit Anand. So Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Okay.
Maharaj, I was saying that Krishna's quality is that he is Satchit Anand. If we are in Brahman realization, then it is only Sat that is that eternal
Short
and
aspect,
imperfect.
yeah, when you understand we are Brahma, then mainly short aspect, that means that is not material. Spiritual, that means Satya Ananda is there, but it is very less.
Okay. Okay.
Normally, Brahma means short aspect. Like Brahma, there is no relationship, no enjoyment,
Hmm.
but no suffering also. In that connection, there
Hmm.
is joy also there. At
So
least
we attain.
nobody is
Hmm.
giving punishment. So that is one type
Hmm.
of joy.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. So we attain some quantity, like some qualities of Krishna. It means this, right?
Says no, because no suffering means does
Yes,
not
ma'am.
mean enjoyment. But
Yes,
you say
got
yes.
it. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Chittarshan.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam Maharaj. Thank you very much Maharaj for this class. Maharaj, my question was same like in personal Brahman there is no happiness, like no Ananda part, but I got my answer like you so told that relief from suffering is also a kind of happiness. So I got my answer, Maharaj.
Thank you.
This one.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please explain humble obeisance. Maharaj, when you are reading Bhagavad Gita text, there is one statement called reflection of spiritual world in material world is desire.
What is the question?
Reflection of spirituality in the material world is desire.
What is the question?
Will you elaborate that, Maharaj, a little bit?
Like this material world is reflection of the spiritual world. Had the Prabhupada has given example like reflection of a tree in the water. Reflection. But you can experience some what is tree. You can enjoy that much. But you cannot enjoy the fruit of a tree. What the benefits we're getting out of tree, we will not get from the reflection. But we can only get some idea is tree is like this. So by material world, we can only experience, yes, we are hankering for happiness, it is not here, but some places where we can get that happiness. So here the enjoyment is reflection. Okay, I have some other engagement. Devotee tomorrow. That's it. Prabhupada.